So for today's deck testing video, I'm going to be piloting yet another Manic Jack list, but I'm kind of in love with the card. And this time around it's Manic Mage. This is something that I've played on stream before. It's a variant of a list that I know Ian Bits, for example, has also played. And I've had a lot of success with it, like a surprising amount of success. So figured I would play it here on YouTube as well. This is the list. Like always, I'll put a deck code in the video description as well. But if you want to take a screenshot, here it is. And we're going to go ahead and jump into some games. As I always do with these deck testing videos, we're going to play 2 games, win or lose on the ladder, and see how it goes. This is essentially a mid-range deck. It's not hyper aggressive. There's not a lot of like early game, but in the middle of the game, you get a lot of value out of your creatures, and there's an awful lot of cards with synergy, and it's got a very similar package to the sorcerer list that I've posted that has Manic Jack, right? You've got your lesser wards, Manic Jack, Royal Sage, Root Bender. But the other part of this is I am running the... Oh, God. I guess we throw these back. We'll keep the... You know what? I don't want that either, because that's Prophecy. I am running the big Lava Atronach, right? I am running the Mighty Conjuring, and to help power that, I'm also running Satanine Courier to help things get up to 5 attack. And in all honesty, because there's not a ton of early game, Satanine helps offset that. There's just not as good, in my opinion, like willpower creatures. I'm fine with this.
Careful there, friend.
You could be greedy and save that for a post-Manic Jack thing, but we're gonna do this and
Die, Outlander.
all right. Interesting. I think we're even happier about that. So we're gonna take this trade, and we're gonna develop the we're gonna develop Manic Jack, sorry.
Behold,
So the reason we're gonna do Manic Jack over the
magnificent
Dragon Knight is
monster.
because this grows at the end of the turn. So if I were to play Manic Jack plus this the following turn, this doesn't grow immediately and can't value trade. Manic Jack, however, does grow immediately. So for example, I can go ahead and I can do this, and this gets breakthrough.
Let's do the fish.
And then this can put him on the cusp. And then we can use our last ring charge, but this is basically a 3-cost 5/4 at this point, and that's very, very good. So other things in this list, because of Ultimate Dragon Knight, this is a primarily blue list, and we run Cunning Ally that has like a 80% chance to trigger as a result. That's really nice.
Let's do
One
the
potential
fish
variant of my list versus like the one Ian runs, for example, is I run the Black Dragon. This is just another way to trigger Mighty Conjuring, but it also is a bit of a meta call. I've been seeing an awful lot of like Slay Warrior, for example, on the ladder, and the immunity to lethal that the Black Dragon provides is amazing in that matchup. So
I move as a shadow.
They're all out to get me.
okay. Okay. Not a
Let's
lot that
do
I
the
can
fish
do to save Manic Jack here, sadly.
your head.
So, the stars
Fate Weaver.
portend.
That was not what I was expecting to see. I don't have any good Cloud Rest trades really either. I think we're just gonna go with the Doomfang here. Doomfang is most often just gonna be a 3/3 ward because, again, primarily blue deck.
Adapt and survive.
Every now and then you'll catch some drain, and that can be useful in certain scenarios. So I have to assume this is gonna trade here because you get the Iron Sword anyway, and they're gonna do their best to slow me down.
So do I.
Being down to 9 is a bit of an issue for them. Even more so because there's a lot of reach in this deck, surprisingly. So the Satanines are a great source of burst. It does run Lightning Bolt like you would expect. Unkano is the top end, so if you can get them to 4 or less, it works out pretty well in your favor. We're excited about that. That was a lot of resources they just spent. And speaking of Unkano, my good buddy shows up there. I think just getting rid of this and slowing them down, keeping their board presence down is fine here.
By the fires of oblivion.
And then we just have a bunch of really resilient ward creatures. Because I realistically, I only need to get 2 damage in this next turn at 7, and then the following turn I can Incarno at 8. Well, that changes things a little bit. Because that's an awful lot of drain. And not a ton that I can do about it. So now we're just hoping for no prophecy.
I will have your head.
Because we have lethal on the board. And if it is a prophecy... Oh. Oh! Well, that's also bad. I was going to say if it is a prophecy, we hope it's a guard. Because then this could trade into 1 and then you could tome and still get the damage through. But we cannot get there now, gang. So
Out upon it. Out upon it. By the 8th, they will meet their maker. I'll try to draw
gonna do our best. And now we have a legitimate chance of losing because 6 damage on the board, they only need 7. If they have double lightning bolt, we lose. Like, I'm not so much concerned about the health gain. We have a big board and it's very resilient. Like, Ice Storm wouldn't help them. But just outright dying is a concern here. That Ransack was critical. Absolutely critical. Not much we could have done to play around it either. I mean, we had lethal on the board, so that's a risk you take, right?
This day is mine.
Okay, we go down to 5. Oh no, they can get us. They can get us. We're dead. They found the lethal. Yeah, okay. So the werebat gets it done against us. And that's unfortunate. I think the deck performed properly. You can see what this deck is trying to do. The unfortunate result there, however, is we lost to a last rune prophecy. That's all it is. And sometimes that happens. I think that you do what you got to do. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better this time around. I'd like to at least get 1 win here as we try to showcase the deck because I'm a believer in the deck. I'm going to keep the ward. Like I said, I've had a lot of success with it. Yeah, that's why you keep the ward. Dragon Knight on turn 2 with the ring and a ward is so good. And it's even better against decks that do not run Sorcerer's Negation. Dragon Knight against Sorcerer Negation. A bad time. Other decks, though, you're pretty happy.
I keep a spare blade in my boot.
Yeah, last rune, Ransack. Man, on a different day, that might have just straight up tilted me. Because it was one of the few things that could prevent lethal there, and it was enough damage to cause lethal for me. Bad times. Alright, so this is pretty straightforward. And we got all of our really cool synergy cards, because again, Dragon Knight also loves mutation.
We must press our advantage.
So next turn we can go Manic Jack mutation. Jack will grow. This will get bigger yet again. If this loses ward, or if Jack loses ward at some point and you reward them, you get triggers for both. There's just an awful lot of good things. Alright, so this tells me this might be Doomcrag.
Now is the time for action.
Behold, my magnificent monster.
Because this plus the Charger is usually a pretty good indication that you're up against Doomcrag Warrior. So Manic Jack's going to go Shadow to hide from Chargers. The Vanguard was, you know, it's one of those cards that can go either way sometimes, but...
I only need 1 shot.
Okay. Okay, a bit unfortunate. But alas, nothing we can do. The bad thing about Doomcrag is your Rootbender gets almost no value, unfortunately. Because they're not going to be using actions
Now is the time for action.
They're not going to be using actions to target you, really. We're going to save this last ring charge and instead just go with a bunch of burst damage here. Even though I expect this to die this next turn, I think we have to push it. And the reason we save the ring charge is because next turn on 5 we can play the Root Bender and hide it. And as long as the Root Bender survives, then on the next turn we can ring into Mighty Conjuring. And that's very important. We need to try to close this game out quickly. The longer it goes, the more it favors the enemy. Because they got an early amulet, we can't even get them low and then hope to draw burst, which is something that you can do as a strategy with this deck against other decks, right? Sometimes you do run out of steam, but if you run out of steam and you've got them low enough, there are a lot of burst opportunities in a deck like this, so it's typically something that you're trying to do. We just need them to have an awkward turn here, because our next couple turns are pretty straightforward. And that's not a good sign for us. They just need one more damage. Yeah, alright, so they're going to clear our board.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah, not great for us. So they cleared our board and gained health. Just all around, not what you're looking for. In case you're wondering, the Stand Watches are in here as a defensive prophecy. They also cycle, and they also help Manic Jack out. There's only 2 of them, but it's actually a pretty cheeky tech card. It's decent against aggressive decks, and it can also help. You know, if you've got like a big board here and you're trying to protect a certain target, just giving something else that you want guard is sometimes relevant. Alright. That's not a good sign, because that usually means that it's about to die. No, it lived, okay. Yeah, this is a tough call here, because on the one hand, putting this over here means they would need a ping and then a lethal with a crossbow or something like that to deal with it, because we're up past 6, so like Doomcrag is something you have to worry about, but I also wanted to try to protect this, so
the day is mine.
It's a risk either way.
My arrows shall fly true.
That's exactly what you worry about. That's exactly what you worry about. So we're going to get that damage in, and let's go ahead and cycle this. Let's be honest, they're going to attack it anyway.
The Dark Brotherhood is upon.
And then we're gonna develop this again. Meta call. I've been seeing more Slay Warrior, but also pretty helpful here.
Fire!
We really want to top deck on Kano here. I mean, really want to top deck on Kano here. Oh no. They had the second sharpshooter. So sharpshooter is like the only thing that can take that out, and it has to be sharpshooter with a Doomcrag like this, so you're obviously not excited that that was the turn that the enemy had.
Let's shed some light on the problem.
Yeah, this still might have been a mistake. It's kind of a tough call. Hiding them in the shadow protects you from charge creatures, but it opens you up to things like Tiny Dragon. Putting them here means they have to have something that goes cross lane, or just another Doomcrag. Alright, well, this is going to be a fast video. A nice, easy 0-2, despite me being entirely a believer in the deck list. I think we just ran into some bad matchups, and potentially bad draws. Like, our opponent had everything that they want in the early game against us. Most Doomcrags don't run like 3 amulets, but they had that. They already had 2 Doomcrag vampires and 2 sharpshooters. This is unfortunate. We're gonna play it through. just in case. Maybe they get greedy and they attack. There is no reason for them to do so.
One shot.
But maybe they get greedy and attack.
Death to the tribunal's lackey.
Alright.
We obey.
Yeah, see? We'll just give this Doomcrag guard.
Bleed for me, mortal fool.
Alright. No help. They're gonna stop. If they're... Oh, alright. No, they're just gonna go. Alright.
They missed their shot.
The unfortunate thing is even if I draw Uncano, I still lose. Taking out creatures at this point, I think I still lose, right? I have a Firebolt here. I can peel 4 damage off. They've got 7, 9. No, I can buy myself a turn. It doesn't help me win, but it helps me not lose. Which I guess is better than nothing.
We fight for the glory of lost Almeris. By the fires of oblivion.
And that'll go there, and we'll ward that up. And now Prey. I mean, they still have a lot of cards in hand, a lot of resources. Potential chargers. Right? We're dead to, like, raiding party
Praise to
an additional
Namira,
charger.
whose sphere is the ancient darkness.
Alright. Of course they just also have 2 crossbows. Why wouldn't they? Absolutely brutal. Yeah, this is one of those, like, yeah, I don't, like, they had lethal here. If the second one just shoots me, then they just win. Like, we lost this 100% to draw. It wasn't even like we got outskilled here because they missed lethal. Do we have any paths whatsoever? Like, any outs? Maybe. So I can play everything in my hand. So, if we shackle here,
Out upon it.
and I do this, and I trade.
They're bleeding.
Now, again, I'm going to lose my board here. Like, they're just going to wipe it, but in theory, this gives me an out.
Praise to Namira.
Right? Maybe by some miracle they don't have absolutely everything they need right now.
From their blood.
And, of course, they have the raiding party. The raiding party is a problem because
Time to fight.
they can
Time to fight.
gain
They missed their
Attack.
or not. All right, so we actually might win this because my opponent made several play mistakes. They could have gained health, got blood magic spells, cleared things out. All right, so we should have lost this. This is a 1-in-1 video that should have definitely been 0-2. My opponent had lethal and missed it, and then my opponent, the following turn, definitely had a way to prevent me from killing them while also getting resources, and did not do that either. So, I wanna just real quickly reiterate that despite this looking really bad, this list has been very, very effective for me. On the ladder, I'll probably end up doing a full deck spotlight on it at some point. It's got a great win rate for me. Just a couple of bad matchups, I think, for this video. But overall, if you watched and you stuck it out, you didn't turn off the video when you thought I was going to lose, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Until next time, may you walk on warm sands.